Key elements of a good retrospective. The actual questions could probably vary according to your context, and things could be more effectively worded to suit your team dynamics, but the gist of the retrospective mostly revolves around these three questions. An important aspect of sprint retrospectives is that it requires an active and committed participation from all the team members and everyone involved. It includes the team, product owner, and the Scrum Master. Hence, an emotionally safe environment wherein everyone involved is able to express their views openly without any hesitation. A retrospective must have a constructive atmosphere that promotes healthy discussions. Some of the key elements of a good retrospective meeting are: at least one aspect of the team, sprint, or process undergoes improvement discussion in a retrospective. Every sprint ends with a bunch of improvements to make sure sprints are undergoing continuous improvement. A retrospective is not a responsibility of a single person. It is a collaborative effort that includes the whole team, product owner, and the Scrum Master. All team members are involved in identifying the good things that happened over the sprint and things that could be improved. Healthy discussions make healthy retrospectives. The team members are able to put down their views and suggestions for improvement without any hesitation or negative emotions. And ideas to improve productivity and efficiency are brainstormed and their implementation is analyzed. A good retrospective thus enables the team to identify its weak points and solidify its strengths, allows it to fully realize their potential, and it's one of the primary ways of increasing the team's sense of ownership and self-management. The most common steps involved in holding a retrospective are given as follows. Retrospective definition. Being one of the most important ceremonies of a sprint, retrospectives act as the feedback mechanism to stop and revise your process proceedings. The word retrospective itself implies self-reflection and improvement. Hence, only meaningful retrospectives are worth your time. If your retrospectives are just going to be a formal meeting held for namesake, it's not going to be useful. The agenda of the meeting has to be clearly communicated to everyone involved. Preparation before the meeting is also a key factor. Every team member must be prepared before the retrospective. Follow-ups must be done as soon as possible, and care should be taken to see that no action item goes unattended. Retrospectives should also be made a regular part of your sprint so that your team gets acquainted with it and has more of a transparent culture required by a sprint retrospective. Planning its working. Planning your retrospective is indeed a necessity that cannot be overlooked. Sprint retrospective is held after the sprint review, after the end of each sprint. As you already know, the potential problems, existing problems, and possible solutions are all discussed and arrived at a consensus. This discussion could take a while, but it's important that you limit the time to about 1 hour per week of the sprint. For instance, if the sprint is a 1-month sprint, the retrospective should not last longer than 3 hours. Participants. The Scrum Master acts as the facilitator for a sprint retrospective, and it's important that you have a well-versed and experienced Scrum Master to help you achieve successful sprint retrospectives. According to the Scrum Guide, the attendance of the product owner is necessary since they are a part of the Scrum team. Perspectives. As mentioned earlier, the retrospective mostly looks at things from 3 different angles: things that went well, those that went well, and improvements. It can also have more than these perspectives, like discussing new challenges and proposing new ideas.